Yeah, 12-year-old boy delivering newspapers, helping his mother out, and something that should be normal, teaching this young man about the wonderful thing of hard work and doing it for yourself. But while that was happening, guess what? Another white female called the police. Let's roll the clip.
Sharp and her sons, 17-year-old Micah and 11-year-old Uriah, were delivering the bag full of newspaper ads to porches on Barrington Road in Upper Arlington.
Teaching them to work.
But Uriah had to go back.
We had delivered to the wrong houses, so he went to go grab the newspapers just to make sure everything was okay.
Then police showed up and asked what they were doing.
I showed him the thing. I said, for the dispatch, the bag, the midday week paper that we get. And he said, oh, really? And I'm just like, by that time I was kind of like, okay, like, why are you questioning me about this?
Someone had called Upper Arlington police.
It looked like at first maybe they're like delivering newspapers or something. Then I noticed they were walking up to the houses with nothing in hand, and one of them came back with something. I mean, I don't want to say that something was going on, but it just seemed kind of suspicious.
At 5:30 in the evening, what was this big, reasoning that you had to call the police?
She felt she had to share what happened in a post that's now being commented on and shared hundreds of times.
Something as simple as delivering papers, and it turns out to be, I have to be racially profiled.
Upper Arlington police tell me they often respond to calls from people worried about what the caller thinks is suspicious behavior.
We sent an officer out to take a look at it. When our officer arrived on scene, he very quickly determined that these individuals were delivering the newspaper.
He says for police, race played no role.
I would say to anyone who feels like their interaction with us was not professional and not to the highest standards to contact us directly.
Uriah says he will keep on helping Mom, but he is uncomfortable after his experience with police.
I was happy because he waved, but I wasn't happy because someone called the cops on us.
So I have continued to compile a list of things that black people obviously cannot do in 2018 without somebody Caucasian calling the police. So we can't cut grass, we can't barbecue, we can't sell water, we can't smoke cigarettes, we can't swim in the pool, we can't have socks in the pool, and now we can't deliver newspapers. Like I stated before, none of those things are criminal acts. It's just don't want you to exist, don't want you around. And a lot of black people are saying this is ridiculous. What is going on? And we as black people, most of us are spiritual people. We know this, correct? We have to not look at this in a natural sense. We really have to look at this more so in a spiritual sense. Like, okay, what's going on? Why all of a sudden in unison they're doing this? What's the uptick of hatred toward us? What is it? You have to think about that, because if we try to think about it on the lines of human reasoning, just something normal that someone is just being evil on, it won't make sense. Think about it. They're doing this in spite of their jobs, their reputation, their children, their whatever. They just constantly doing this. And it's just within a lot of them. Now it's like in unison, we have an increased hatred for the black man and black woman, and especially the black children, because they know that we are definitely the people of God. They know that. And every day they see us, they have more and more hatred toward us. And as they deal with their judgment that's happening now, and that's going to increase, of course, as their judgment increase, the hatred for us is going to increase as well. And it's allowed to happen to us. And I know it's being allowed, and we're talking spiritually, it's because we need to do as taught in Revelation 18 to come out from among them. That's what you have to do. You have to separate yourself, not because you hate people, but because you don't want to be involved with the judgment that's coming to them. It's just that simple. And it seems like to me that God's allowing them to do this so you can back off. And it's not just us, it's other groups as well, how they act in that way. Now, they will say that, no, it's an individual thing. It's not everybody, but we're talking about collectively. We're not talking about some individuals. Collectively, this is happening constantly. Many different states, all over the country. This is constantly happening. You can't say it's a one-off. You can't say that. And at the end of the day, you really can't blame Donald Trump, because they choose to do this. Donald Trump is not on there saying call the cops on black people every time you see them. That's not what Donald Trump's saying to do. He's saying some craziness, obviously, but he's not saying that. So that's something that they're choosing to do. Now, what we have to do as black people is recognize it and get ourselves right in our community, because too many of us want to take on the ways of them and the things that they are doing, and that's not pleasing. Now, I don't care if you don't believe in the Bible. I don't care if you don't believe in God. I don't care. And because you think that way, even the scriptures teacher, a fool would say that, okay? And it's because you took on a lot of their ways. It's just that simple. We will always had ourselves right with God. We always kept our family together. Our community was so much better. We talk about segregation, why black people was better, because we was more spiritually in tune, and we understood family was important, morals was important, and doing for self was important, loving each other was important. And the moment you got away from that and got around the others, that's when you started taking on their ways. This is why even in the scriptures that God teaches to separate yourself from certain groups, because if you don't want to take on their ways and worship their gods and different things. Those are, we talking in the spiritual sense, right? Those of you who definitely read the Bible and understand that. Even people who don't read the Bible, but you kind of know a little bit about it, you understand what I'm talking about. Because we sit here and just kind of rationalize this as something just a physical thing, something normal. Well, it'll make your head hurt. And I'm way past even looking at that at this point, because it's too often, it's too constant, it's every single day. And you have a lot of black people that's heartbroken because this is coming out and this is happening. Well, the way they've been feeling, like, why are you feeling, oh my God, I'm shocked. Like, it's nothing to be shocked about. Actually, you should laugh. You should laugh when the police show up. You just start laughing. And the police like, what's funny? I was like, somebody called you, so I was thinking it's funny. And the police wouldn't know what to think about it at that point. You're laughing when they show up, because you're looking all scared, like that's what they used to. But brothers and sisters, don't worry about all this. All this that they're doing is gonna come to an end. Trust me on that. It's not gonna last forever. We are not gonna be in bondage forever. We're not gonna live in this particular society forever. And the 400 years is about up. And those of you who understand about the 400 years, you know what I'm talking about. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story. But don't be too shocked. Expect it. Constantly expect it. Because it's understandable why we are hated.